remember that they are changing my voice. Remember, the Bible is a bunch of stories with morals. And they're recurring, whether it's Jeremiah, Isaiah, Hosea, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, no matter what it is, they are stories with a moral. And the moral is to put God first and to obey God in the divine order. And you know them by their works. And the flesh means nothing. And you must make righteousness and justice the measuring line and plumb line. So when we see that the Jews, didn't come till after Abraham, right? Before that there was Noah. And Noah was put into an ark and he was told to leave the land. And they went out of the ark and left the ark. Following God toward heaven is the idea. And eventually there's, the offspring of Shem, who are taught that Nimrod was a mighty warrior before the Lord, and the spirit of Nimrod left Babylon, and Abraham, his descendants, they leave the Babylonian area as well. And after the offspring of Jacob, who changes his name to Israel, God changes his name to Israel, they betray Joseph, that causes them to go to Egypt, and that they're punished in Egypt. So first in Egypt things are looking pretty good, but then they have to come out of Egypt. So they went out of the world, as God's plan was for people to come out of the world into the ark and out of the ark, and they went to Africa and the Middle East, etc., in Europe. Then the ones who were given the plan, were given the plan through Nimrod, and Nimrod was a mighty warrior for the Lord in the Babylonian area. And Abraham, who lived in Ur or Chaldea in the Babylonian area, went out of the Babylonian area, to some degree, and he decides where to go, and he meets Melchizedek and so on and so forth. And then his offspring, there's Isaac, there's Jacob. They have to make decisions, and eventually the offspring of Jacob, Joseph, is betrayed by the other 11 children, and he goes to Egypt, and Pharaoh gives him, a high standing in Egypt. And then they go out of Egypt because of Moses, and they go into Israel after wandering for a while. Then in Paul's letter it says Israel is lost in sin, so they must come out of Israel. They're scattered around the world. They must cut them out of Israel. They must go to a new heaven and a new earth. The whole time they're on the earth and in the spiritual realm at times, and they're trying to return to the Garden of Eden, not to the land of Israel. And that's how the Bible ends in Revelation, where there's the Garden of Eden, there's the tree of life. It's not on the earth. So the new heaven and the new earth are the goal, not this land in this world. Pretty straightforward. And to overkill it, we see in Joel chapter 2. It says in verse 3, before them fire devours, behind them a flame blazes. Before them the land is like the Garden of Eden, behind them a desert waste. Nothing escapes them. So the world is being transformed into hell. The covenant with God eventually would include that the new earth and the new heaven would never be flooded, but they had to follow the rules and get there. That was the covenant. The flood was figurative. The ark is figurative. Monarch, Ark of the Covenant. They said there's no more Ark of the Covenant after they make it to heaven. The ark will be in their hearts. The ark will be something that they live. Pretty straightforward. The opposition view is crazy. Even though in Paul's letters it says you're going to be given new spiritual bodies, they think you'll be resurrected to here in the flesh. Now, if you're resurrected to here in the spirit, why be here? Why wouldn't you go to a place that's more pure than the physical realm? Their argument is not logical. It is delusional. And when one decides to follow people other than the top martial artist ever possible, they are insane. They are insane to think that they know better about why they're here, about sensing God, about the essential alpha essence to sense the presence of God than the top martial artist ever possible. Thank you.